Embodiments of love. Greetings to all of you. Today, I'm going to expose 6 most effective acupressure points. When stimulated, you can be rest assured that your immune system will be enhanced to its highest potential, so that you could defend yourself from being subjected to any diseases that includes COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite you to join me as I lead to locating the points. The first point sits on the scalp. But to locate this point, we start with 2 anatomical landmarks, of which one is the bottommost point of the earlobe and the other is the top, if not the apex of the ear. You draw a superficial line to connect these two and extend upwards to meet the midline. And the point is situated exactly where these 2 lines intersect. Now let me inculcate the method in which you can exercise the stimulation. There are 2 methods in principle. One is a rotating and thrusting movement to synchronize with your breathing exercise, and the other is a pumping movement and thrusting once again to synchronize with your breathing. This stimulation is ideal for a period of 2 minutes and twice a day on all the acupuncture points or acupressure points. Now this point is due 20. It's due 20, called Pai Hui. In Chinese, Pai Hui means meeting point of 100 points. And it happens to be a governing point as well. So when you use this point in conjunction with the other points, it will ensure that the other points function to their optimum efficacy to an extent where you reap the benefit of the fullest therapeutic benefit from those acupressure points. The second reason is that it is one of the most potent sedative point to an extent where it puts you in a state of tranquility, as most of the diseases that manifest is as a result of psychogenic, if not psychosomatic reasons, and this point, when stimulated, will eradicate the problems, if not eliminate the problem from the grassroots level. The second point that I would like to introduce is on the posterior aspect, on the midline, between cervical vertebra 7, which is the static vertebra prominence, and the first thoracic vertebra. You're looking at the 7th cervical vertebra and the first thoracic vertebra. The point lies right in between, which is called Da Shu D14. Da Shu meaning the biggest vertebra or the bone. This point is extremely a very potent immune enhancing point, to the extent where it was used in 1967 in China, when China was hit by malaria as an epidemic by storm. This point was used to replace quinine, which is the vaccine for malaria. Now incidentally, quinine has similar chemical composition as of hydroxychloroquine, which is a vaccine much sought after to address COVID-19, and I see all the reasons why this can be used to treat and cure COVID-19 as well. Now the quinine is what that also inspired the founder of homeopathy, Dr. Samuel Friedrich Christian Hahnemann, where the quinine is extracted from a Peruvian bug called the Cinchona officinalis. Coming further down to the left side of the upper limb, the other point that I would like to introduce is at the elbow level, elbow crease. When you semi-flex the elbow, this point sits at the outer end of the elbow crease. This point is called Chu Chi Li 11, meaning the angle of the pool. This point is a very potent homeostasis point where it regulates, when stimulated, your autonomic nervous system and also the secretions such as endorphins, enkephalins, serotonin, and also the adrenaline, to ensure that your heartbeat and your rate of respiration, your body temperature, your sleep pattern, your appetite, all this is regulated in the right manner. One of the very most important homeostasis points that can be used to improve your immune system as well. The next point is between your thumb and the index finger at the highest point of the adductor pollicis muscle. It is called Hoku large intestine 4. Right at the apex of the adductor pollicis muscle. One way to locate is to keep your thumb and the index finger together, and it sits at the highest point. The other method is to identify the distalmost crease of the thumb to sit on the web, that is the web, and it sits exactly at the head of the adductor pollicis muscle. Now this is one muscle, if you ask me, which helped us evolve. This is one muscle that helped us evolve from the time of the post-Jurassic era to the time we became bipedal and to what we are today, highly evolved. This muscle together with thumb, the pollicis, which occupies the second largest representation in the brain, only next to the brain by itself. This point is called Hoku in Chinese, large intestine 4. Hoku means the greatest eliminator. What it does, it eliminates a wider spectrum of diseases that includes your immune enhancing methods as well. It is a very potent analgesic point, but it also can be used for other physiological aspects as well. The other point which works on your respiratory system lies on the midline sternum, which is in between the nipple line or on line with the fourth intercostal space, which is called Shanshong Ren 17. It's on the midline, Ren 17, right in the middle. Now, it can be at times misleading to go by the nipple line for obvious reasons. In that case, you need to palpate the midline sternum. Starting with the suprasternal fossa, when you palpate down, you come to a rough edge, which is called the angle of Lewis, where the second rib comes in fusion. From there, you count down to the second intercostal space, third, and then come down to the fourth intercostal space. That happens to be the influential point for respiratory system, which also addresses the pulmonary disorders starting from common cold to influenza to SARS, and also not to forget COVID-19, which takes a toll on your lung. This, ladies and gentlemen, will increase your intake of oxygen and enhances your respiratory system to an extent where it also addresses your immune system to a greater level. Once again, let me reiterate the importance of your breathing exercise. The oxygen, which is given in abundance by the Almighty, absolutely free of charge. We little realize the value and the importance of it until such time we are taken to a hospital and where we have to pay exorbitantly for oxygen in the form of ventilators. So focus once again, I reiterate, on breathing. Last but not the least is the point on the thigh muscle or quadricep muscle on the head of the vastus medialis muscle. On the right side this time. You keep the center of your palm at the middle of the knee, if not the patella, 4 fingers together, and the thumb semi-adduct or relaxed position, which it sits exactly at the highest point of the vastus medialis, which is called Shuhai, spleen 10. Now Shuhai means sea of blood, if not ocean of blood, and it implies exactly what it means. It improves your blood circulation to an extent where it also works directly in proportion to your immune system. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the 6 most effective acupressure points that can be stimulated to derive the optimum efficacy of your immune system. But I would kindly urge you to invite another person who is dear to you to administer the acupressure on these points, because when it's done by another person with love and compassion, it enhances the therapeutic benefit to a greater dimension. As I firmly believe that besides the disciplines such as acupressure, acupuncture, homeopathy, allopathy, osteopathy and Unani, which has to be complemented with sympathy and empathy to take them to a divine pedestal. Thank you very much once again. Thank you, sir, Mr. Ganesh, for the course of education, for being a model for demonstration. Thank you once again for watching. I look forward to seeing you again in another episode. Until then, Terwang Saranai, and God bless you all. Thank you once again.